Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode on Crick Views. Today's episode is quite special because I'm recording it in audio as well as video. So if you are listening to the audio and you want to listen to the video, I'll leave a link in the description. And same for the video. If you want to listen to the podcast version, leave a link in the description so that you can listen to the audio. So on today's episode, I am going to be reviewing the IPL auction. I actually reviewed it and recorded an entire episode, but then when I was editing, something crazy happened, and the beginning of the entire video went to the end, and so I had to delete it, and I'm re-recording this episode. So that's why I'm a little late on this. So in today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the IPL auction, and we'll be reviewing each team and the best and the worst picks. I'll be starting off with CSK, Chennai Super Kings, because they're the first up in the alphabetical order, and then I'll be ending with SRH. But then there's Punjab Kings in the way, which would have been the second, they would have been the second team up, and they decided to change their team, and now they're the second to last. And nobody knows why they changed their team. So some guy probably had a dream while just talking about it. They had a meeting of the team meeting, and then the guy or mistyped the team name, and then Preeti Zinta saw it and she was like, that's a good name, and they decided to go with that name. No reason whatsoever, but I guess we'll have to live with that. So starting off with CSK, and surprisingly CSK didn't choose any player, didn't do anything new to their team lineup except the fact that they wasted a lot of money. So their the worst pick of this whole IPL was Krishnappa Gautam. They didn't need to buy him at all, for no reason at all. And I was watching it, I watched it later, and SRH was also going for him, and I was so scared because Krishnappa Gautam, if you're getting him for like 20 lakhs, max 75 lakhs, nothing more than a crore, then that's enough. And if SRH was also going after him until CSK got him for 9.25 crores, that means both those teams are crazy. He's a decent bowler and a valuable power hitter. He can do something at the back end, but he's not worth 9 crores, and probably the dumbest pick. He's the highest paid uncapped player. They didn't need to buy him at all, and they bought him. So in the last IPL season, he played 2 games, and in both those 2 games, he was playing for Kings 11, and even Kings 11 released him. But he was playing for. He played 2 games, and in both those games, he didn't do good. But the main reason they bought him was for spin, because it's Chepak, and if you saw the second Test match of India versus England, you would have saw how much it spins and sometimes how much it bounces. So that was one bad pick, and their second bad pick was Moeen Ali. Moeen Ali was also worth 7 crores, and maybe the reason they bought him was maybe because they wanted to buy somebody like Glenn Maxwell. They were also going after Glenn Maxwell, but RCB got him in the end. And since they lost Glenn Maxwell, they wanted to go with some kind of a replacement, somebody who's as similar to Glenn Maxwell as possible. And they thought Moeen Ali was the best pick. They should have gone with Fabian Lyon, much better replacement of Glenn Maxwell. I don't know if they heard of him. Maybe Fabian Lyon is too young. That's why CSK only chooses guys that are over 33, 32, and that's why they went with Moeen Ali. And they went for 7 crores, mainly there for spin. Most likely won't play any games unless they play him instead of DJ Bravo. So another bad pick. And the third bad pick, it's a respectable pick. Honorable pick was Cheteshwar Pujara, and they bought him for 50 lakhs. No other team went for him, and when they bought, the rest of the teams clapped for CSK. Maybe they were kind of like laughing at them at CSK for buying Cheteshwar Pujara, since everybody in the world knows how he bats, and maybe they were clapping him for that, or they were honoring what they were doing, since Pujara, for what he has done to Indian cricket in the past. And not even in the past, but ever since he came, the double centuries he scored, the series, he managed to fight out and even if India wasn't winning, letting India bat a while. So Venkatesh Balaji came out and said that he was one of the members of the CSK team management. He came out after the game and said that they were thinking if they bought him, it would be something it would show respect to Pujara, because no other team was going after him, and especially what he has done in at the Gabba and Sydney, he's really valuable. So respectable thing, but for Indian cricket, for IPL, just as a player, if you look at him, that's really good. But if you look at what this affect into Indian cricket, then it doesn't look so good, because Chetesh Pujara in a normal year would have gone on to play county cricket in England, and India has an England series coming up right after the IPL. And if Pujara was playing in the county cricket, he would have done much better in that series. I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to do bad, but he would have been much more prepared for the England conditions. And because of this, he's going to have to stay back and play for CSK. So this will be maybe a problem for Indian cricket, but maybe not if Pujara can quickly manage. But that's what Pujara was about. So my prediction for CSK, I think they're going to open with Jagdishan and Ruturaj Gaikwad. So they can honestly go with Faf du Plessis. Faf du Plessis can fit anywhere between 1 and 5 for CSK. That's how valuable he is, but the only problem they won't be playing him is because they won't want to play some overseas players in the all-around positions. So Jagdishan and Ruturaj Gaikwad as openers. Suresh Raina is back. That's going to boost CSK's chances of making the playoff after they missed out for the first time. So Raina's back. Raidu is also playing. They could play, like I said, Faf. And if I was a CSK fan, I would have gone with Faf du Plessis. But if I was thinking normally, I would go with Raidu because if he's an Indian, then they can play another overseas such as Moeen Ali for buying him such a high price. They could just play Moeen Ali rather than Krishnappa Gautam, or they have many different things they could do if Raidu just plays. So Raidu at 4, MS Dhoni at 5, Ravindra Jadeja at 6, DJ Bravo at 7, or Moeen Ali, like I said, Shardul Thakur or Ngidi or Josh Hazelwood at number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. So any one of them could fit there. Thakur allows a lot of cutters. He allows a lot of variation. Ngidi offers a lot more pace and a lot more bounce, and Josh Hazelwood offers a lot more line and length. So all 3 of them could be valuable, but if they do play in overseas rather than Shardul Thakur in that one of the Pacers positions, then they cannot play another spinner, overseas spinner, or they cannot play DJ Bravo. So actually, instead of DJ Bravo, they could go with Krishnappa Gautam and put Moeen Ali in, or they could just keep DJ Bravo and go with Shardul Thakur and also include Krishnappa Gautam. So Shardul Thakur at number 9, Imran Tahir at Shardul Thakur at number 8, Imran Tahir at number 9, Krishnappa Gautam comes back. Oh my god. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm going to do this again. Jagdishan at number 1, Gaikwad at number 2, Raina at number 3, Raidu at number 4, Dhoni at number 5, Jadeja at number 6, DJ at number 7, Krishnappa Gautam at number 8, Deepak Chahar at number 9, Shardul Thakur at number 9, Deepak Chahar at number 10, and Imran Tahir at number 11. And that's what CSK is going to go with. My prediction for them is that for the upcoming IPL, I would say they would, if they can reach number 5 at the 5th position in the top 8, I would consider that good for the team that they have. Their team looks full. They click all the boxes, honestly, because they tick all the boxes because they have a good opening. The problem with them is they don't have anybody that can in the top order that is really world class and strike at over 150. Only Suresh Raina has the ability to do that because he has done that before. But Raidu rarely comes off with Raidu, and Faf du Plessis, if he was there, he would have done some of that. But Faf du Plessis hasn't been known to carry on the innings in T20, especially. He gets to the 50s, the 60s, and sometimes the 70s, but he doesn't go on from there. So a problem when their top order striking fast. That was their problem in the last season as well. Their strike rate their economy in the middle order, run rate in the middle order was really low, which was why they lost so many matches. It's the Dhoni's plan, which is to save games till the end and strike at the end. But it hasn't worked last time because Dhoni is not a 34 or 33-year-old. He's not really young. He's an old guy. He's 39-year-old. So age does catch up to people. So that's why CSK has done bad before, and in an upcoming auction in 2022, they'll try to go with somebody like a David Mann and Nicholas Puran because they offer much better strike rates and much better averages. And that's what CSK have. The next team we're going to be talking about is Delhi Capitals, and they also had some dumb picks, but they averaged out with some other good picks. So their bad pick was Tom Curran, who was picked for 5.25 crores. And they were going for him at base price of 1.5 crores. The only reason I could see why they were going for Tom Curran is if Anrik Nortje and Kagiso Rabada are held back to play the South Africa's Test series or T20 and ODI series against Pakistan. That's the only reason they will be buying Tom Curran. But going for him at 5.25 crores, they had much better players to go off and to buy other players, but they decided to buy Tom Curran. At the same price, they could have got Dane Christian. Dane Christian was bought for approximately, I think, 4 crores or something. They could have got Dane Christian, who offers much more with the bat, or Shubham Dubey, who offers much more with the ball than Tom Curran. But they decided to go with Tom Curran. He's not a good death bowler, not a good power play bowler, not a good middle order bowler, not a good power hitter. He had 150 last game, yes, but that's it. It was in Sharjah as well, so that's a really bad decision. And the reason they went up to 5.25 crores was because of Sunrisers. They were also going for Tom Curran. I don't know what's gone with Sunrisers. I think they were just trying to tell everyone that, hello, we're also here. We're also here at the auction. We're trying to buy players. That's the only reason they could have been trying to buy Tom Curran, or they're trying to waste DC's budget. If they had got them for 1.5 crores, then DC would still have 3 or 4 crores left. And they did the same thing with Krishna Bhagavatam. They really increased the price at which the other team had to buy their players. So maybe it's a plan, maybe it's not a plan, but that's what DC did. They bought Tom Curran for 5.25 crores. Pretty dumb pick, but that's it. But they had 2 good picks, and it's Umesh Yadav and Steve Smith. First of all, they didn't need Steve Smith. There was no reason to buy Steve Smith apart from the fact that if Shimron Hetmeyer is dedicated to play at number 3 or number 4. Yeah, that's the only reason. And even if Shimron Hetmeyer is played there, they still have Sam Billings, who's not known to play there, but they still have another player. But Shimron Hetmeyer is not going to be playing at number 3 or number 4. Steve Smith was a bad pick because they won't play him for most likely. They could have saved 2.2 crores and they could have got another Indian batsman or Indian player, especially a power hitter. They had Marcus Stoinis. Only Marcus Stoinis doing it last time in the last season, and that's why they weren't able to do big chases or set up big targets. So the bad thing from them. And Umesh Yadav was a good pick though. They got him for 1 crore. He's a backup for Ishant Sharma. Ishant Sharma is really fragile, especially in T20 cricket. He's more of a test bowler, so if Ishant Sharma is doing bad, they also released Mohit Sharma, so they needed Umesh Yadav, another backup Indian bowler, Indian pacer. And Umesh Yadav getting him for 1 crore, and is considering that Rajasthan and Sunrisers need him. Sunrisers or Rajasthan did not go for him, which allowed DC to get him really cheaply for just 1 crore. My prediction for their playing 11 will be Marcus Stoinis is going to open with Shikhar Dhawan. I wouldn't want Prithvi Shaw to open because he has proved in the last IPL season and the test matches that he is not what everybody thinks he is. Like, we put so much pressure on him ever since he just came upon to just cricket in the Mumbai domestic league in under 14 or something. He scored the 546 runs, and ever since then he was so popular. Everybody was saying that he was the next Sachin. And the Shastri came out and said he was a combination of Sehwag and Brian Lara and Steve Smith, or not Steve Smith, Sachin. So people were saying all kinds of things to describe Prithvi Shaw and putting such high expectations. That's why he got a bald head now, because he has so much pressure to handle, and he hasn't performed at all under pressure. And there's going to be even more pressure. I would say Prithvi Shaw should just train. He should not try to play any games, because he's still early in his career. If you remember, Virat Kohli also went through a similar patch in 2012 when he wasn't scoring runs anywhere. Not in 2014 in the England series, but in 2012. He had a bad IPL season. He had bad just cricket overall in different countries. And he decided to take the year off, and he went into the Ranji team, and he scored a truckload of runs. He went to India A, and he scored a lot of runs. And he came back, and ever since then, he has been at the top of his game. So Prithvi Shaw should look to do the same, play a lot of domestic cricket, see what he's doing wrong, and that will allow him to come back way better rather than taking up a lot of chances now. And the more chances he takes up, the more of a memory that people have of him. And if people have more of a memory of how bad he is playing, then they wouldn't pick him to play in most of their games. So it's still great that DC are backing Prithvi Shaw. So they're still most likely not going to try to go with him since they have Marcus Stoinis. So Marcus Stoinis at number 1, Shikhar Dhawan at number 2, Ajinkya Rahane at number 3. I would have wanted somebody like Mohammad Azharuddin, who could have batted much more faster at number 3, or SRK in that fact, but they didn't pick up any number 3 or top order batsman, not an opener, but top order batsman that can bat really fast. So Rahane has to fit in there. Shreyas Iyer at number 4, Rishabh Pant at number 5, Hepmeyer at number 6, Akshay Patel at number 7, and Ravichandran Ashwin or Amit Mishra at number 8. I would personally go with Ashwin because Mishra is honestly getting old. He's still really good, but he's just getting old. Rabade at number 10, Nortje at number 11. Oh shit. Rabade at number 9, Nortje at number 10, and Umesh Yadav at number 11. And that was how Delhi Capitals went, and they're going to have a top 2 finish no matter what. The way last year in 2019 when they not last year 2 years ago last year in 2 years ago in 2019. They were the best away team because they had players who can play all kinds of different, they could adapt to the situations and play just like Mumbai Indians players, rather than having a big advantage at home, which CSK does all the time. They always try to win their games at home, and winning away will be considered a second priority. But Delhi Capitals didn't do that. They wanted to pick an overall really good team, flexible team, and adaptable team, and that's going to allow them to do really good in Delhi and also do reasonably well and have a high chance of winning away. So Delhi Capitals is definitely a top 2 finish. I would say they will be second behind Mumbai. So I would expect them to go to the finals and maybe come off with a win, considering that they have Rishabh Pant, who is back in form now. And now we'll be moving on to KKR, and they had one unnecessary pick, and it's Harbhajan Singh. I don't know. It's not the case of Chitresh Pujara where his price is 50 lakhs and they're trying to honor him. Harbhajan Singh was a great player of Indian cricket, especially from 2000 to 2012. Nothing more than that. He just vanished after that. But until 2012, he was such a valuable asset to Indian cricket. And if he played a similar innings at the Gabba or Sydney, then that would have been that still would have been a little. You would consider it okay, but going for him now, it was really unnecessary. You didn't need Harbhajan Singh at all. So bad decision to buy Harbhajan Singh, wasted 2 crores. They could have easily gone with Hanma Vihari, but they also already had Karun Nair. So that's what Harbhajan Singh is the only bad pick from them. And their best pick was Shakib Al Hasan, who they bought for just 3.2 crores or something, which is really low because many other teams need him, but they didn't decide to not go with him and go with more of the fast bowling all-rounders. So Shakib Al Hasan getting him is a really good pick. So the way I think they're going to manage their team is Shubman Gill and Nitish Rana are going to open, and at number 3 they could go with Shakib Al Hasan or Karun Nair. I'm thinking they're going to go with Shakib Al Hasan because Karun Nair hasn't been in form since a while. So Shakib Al Hasan and Rahul Tripathi at number 4. Rahul Tripathi cannot play pace, so he was used to open in the last IPL. He can play anywhere between 1 and 7. He was dedicated to be the finisher in one game. He was good at opening. He was good in the middle order. So Rahul Tripathi at number 4, Ian Morgan at number 5, Dinesh Karthik and Andrew Russell are really good finishers rather than middle order players. So Dinesh Karthik at number 6 and Andrew Russell at number 7. Harbhajan at number 8. They're going to have to go with them, or they can go with honestly Pawan Negi also. Both replaceable. I would go with Pawan Negi in fact. Number 8, Pawan Negi. Number 9, Varun Chakravarti. You cannot deny that. Number 10, Pat Cummins or Lockie Ferguson. If it's a fast pitch and if it's a slow pitch and you need a lot of pace, then just go with Lockie Ferguson. Or if it's a fast pitch and just a lot of swing on offer or something, anything more bowling friendly, fast bowling friendly, then just go with Pat Cummins since he's much better fast bowler. Lockie Ferguson is a faster bowler and Pat Cummins is a better fast bowler. So that's number 10, and they could go with Shiva Mavi or Prasidh Krishna or Kamlesh Nagarkoti at number 11. And that's what KKR have. Just like CSK, KKR have a reasonably, if you had any team in this IPO don't have a bad team, it's just that other teams have better teams. So KKR, I don't think they're going to get in the top 4 at all. They don't have a lot of chance. They have a lot of problems with their opening. Shubman Gill and Nitish Rana are not really fast striking players. Shakib Al Hasan, same thing. Rahul Tripathi. From Rahul Tripathi to Andrew Russell, everybody plays quick, but if you're 3 down or 4 down, nobody's going to be looking to. You don't want power hitters at the crease. You want people who can anchor. So I would say anything better than number 5 is something good with their team. Their team has lots of problems. They cannot fix it in one auction, but they have bought some good players in this auction, such as Shakib Al Hassan, they can keep in the 2022 IPL auction, mega auction, and literally rebuild their team, and that's what the mega auction helps. So that's why mega auction is so good. So because if one team this is the thing, if you extend the time between mega auctions from 3 years to say 5 years or 6 years, Hashaboglu has said that he wants 5 years. But what that does is teams will look for more talent. They will do more scouting. Right now, Mumbai Indians is the only team to do that because they have the funding. They're funded by the richest man in India and the richest company. So they obviously have a lot of funding. So that's why they're the only team that really does a lot of scouting. And KKR is another one, and SRH is another one. But apart from them, nobody else does a lot of scouting. RCB, Kings 11, Rajasthan does nothing, especially. CSK at least does something with their TMPO. So this is my prediction. I don't think they will get to number 5. So like I said, if the time between mega auctions is number 5, teams will scout more. But the problem is if teams will end up with a bad team starting off with the mega auction, or their players just go in a slump in form, then they're gonna have to stick with that team for a longer period of time. That's the disadvantage, but the advantage is people will be more scared of this happening, and they'll scout more talent so that even if players are having a slump and they have one bad season, they can get better players in the next season. So pros and cons there, but they'll be looking to rebuild their team in the upcoming mega auction next year. And now we're moving on to the number 1 top finish definitely team is Mumbai Indians. So they have bought. The best player they bought was Nathan Kunter. Now they rebought him. They put him into the auction. They bought him for 1 crore less. They bought him for 5 crores. They also bought Adam Milne at 3.2 crores. Piyush Chawla, I don't know why they went for him. Maybe they wanted to increase the amount of money that Delhi Capitals had, decrease the amount of money that Delhi Capitals had. Delhi Capitals wanted to buy Piyush Chawla, and then Mumbai Indians decided to go for it and go for another one. Maybe they're trying to do an SRH or decrease the funding, but he bought him for 2.4 crores, didn't need him at all. Jimmy Neesham was bought for 0.5 crores, and he's just there to replace Karan Pollard, who is getting old. Yudhvir Charak is bought for 0.2 crores, and Marco Janssen. There's been a lot of talk on Marco Janssen. I was watching the Crick Buzz live review show, and Joel Bhattacharya was saying Marco Janssen is probably the next upcoming talent in South Africa. Nobody knows about him. They said that he hasn't played much a lot of first class cricket, or any other domestic T20 cricket. So Marco Jensen, probably another product of Mumbai Indian scouting. They're not only doing scouting in India, they're going into overseas, South Africa now. If Pakistan comes in here, then the Mumbai Indians is going to have a lot more fast bowlers and death bowlers because Pakistan has a lot of fast bowlers. So the only thing missing for them is a death bowler, but that's how it looks. They also bought Arjun Tendulkar, and nothing great, nothing surprising there. The father played in Mumbai Indians, and now the son is also going to play in Mumbai Indians. I don't think he's going to get a lot of games. The only way he could play is if he replaces Krunal Pandya or Hardik Pandya, but that's the only way. The only reason other teams didn't go for him is to show respect to Sachin, because he's such a legend, and they wouldn't want Arjun Tendulkar to play for another team. I first thought that Rajasthan or Sunrisers would try to go for him. Maybe even less of Sunrisers, but especially Rajasthan, they need somebody, a fast bowling all-rounder, and I thought Punjab would also try to buy him. But both teams did not try to go for him. I think Sachin decided to call their team management, probably call Anil Kumble, his best friend, and Shane Warne, his rival, and he asked the team's head coaches to just not go after Arjun Tendulkar. So Arjun Tendulkar was bought by Mumbai Indians. And the only player that I think they're going to play from who they bought in the IPL auction, I think that they're going to play Nathan Kunter now, and also a little bit of Jimmy Neesham if Pollard does bad. So my prediction for their playing 11 is Rohit Sharma and Quinton de Kock are going to open, and Sky at number 3, Ishan Kishan at number 4, Krunal Pandya, Hardik Pandya at number 5 and 6, Karen Pollard or Jimmy Neesham at number 7, Adam Milne or Quintonel, most likely Quintonel at number 8. Number 8, and Rahul Chahar at number 10, Trent Bolt at number 9, 10. Oh wait, Hardik Pandya, Kia 5, Pollard 6, Adam Milne, Quintonel number 7, Rahul Chahar number 8, Bolt at number 9, Bumrah at number 10. Wait a minute, Rohit, Dikak, Sky, Kishan, Hardik Pandya, Kunal Pandya, and Hardik Pandya, Karen Pollard, or Jimmy Neesham, Adam Milne, or Quintonel, Rahul Chahar at number 9. Finally, Trent Bolt at number 10, and Jasprit Bumrah at number 11. And that's how my Indians look. They're going to finish in the top 2, definitely, most likely top 1. But Marco Jansen, teams are going to start looking at what this guy is. They'll be looking up YouTube clips of him just playing cricket, because Mumbai Indians don't just select players because they want to. So that's what Mumbai Indians their team looks like. So that's that. And now we'll be moving on to Rajasthan, and their dumbest pick was Chris Morris, and easily there's no debate on that. The pick is so dumb. I don't know why they have come up with Chris Morris to buy for 16.25 crores. First of all, they already have 3 all-rounders, overseas all-rounders, and they could just go with they have to play David Miller as a 4th one. And now if they bring Chris Morris, then that's just another waste of their money. They should have gone after Umesh Yadav, who would have offered much more in the bowling, and they have gone with Chris Morris. It's maybe going to help them with the bowling attack if they go with them and leave out Jimmy Neesham, but that means that now Ben Stokes and Josh Butler are opening, and the rest of their batting, except Sanju Janssen and Rahul Tewatia, is bad. So, really dumb pick, and especially at the price they got him for, they didn't need to buy him at all. They could have just gone with Jimmy Neesham, who was bought for just 0.5 lakhs, 0.5 crores, or they could have gone with Fabian Allen, who was gone for 75 lakhs. So, really dumb pick from them to get him in. But they also got Shivam Dubey. That was a good pick, I thought. And they got Mustafiz Rahman. They didn't need him. They won't play him unless Jofra Archer gets injured. That's not going to happen. Hopefully not. Chetan Sakaria was bought for 1.2 crores. KC Karyappa was bought for 0.2 crores. Liam Livingstone was bought for 0.75 crores. Kuldeep Yadav with just 1 eye, not instead of 2 E's. Not the Kuldeep Yadav we know. Another Kuldeep Yadav was bought for 20 lakhs. And Akash Singh was bought for 20 lakhs. My prediction for their playing 11 is that Ben Stokes is going to open with Yashasvi Jaiswal. This is what I mean. They're going to have to open with Yashasvi Jaiswal or put Butler up. But if they put Butler up, they don't have another finisher except Rahul Tewatia. And one man cannot... it's hard for Rahul Tewatia to just finish. He did have 1 good innings or 2 good innings in the last IPL season. But you cannot expect them to do that every time. So Butler has to move down. Ben Stokes at number 1, Jaiswal number 2. They could have easily gone with Mohammad Azharuddin and benefited so much from that. They would have had a backup Indian opener. Decided to not go with him. So Jaiswal at number 2, Samson at number 3, Josh Butler at number 4, Riyan Parag at number 5. They'll be counting a lot on Riyan Parag to do good, just like how SRH will be counting on Virat Singh to do good. So Riyan Parag at number 5, Rahul Tewatia at number 6, Shivam Dubey at number 7, Chris Morris at number 8, Shreyas Gopal at number 9, Jofra Archer at number 10, Karthik Tyagi or Akash Singh at number 11. And they have a lot of problems with their playing 11. They don't have a good opener. Samson is out of form a lot. He hasn't done good in recent times. So that's the problem there. Riyan Parag didn't do anything too great so far. He did have a good Syed Mushtaq Ali, so we'll be expecting a lot from him. And they don't have a good all-rounders. They don't have good all-rounders. They have a lot of all-rounders, but they don't have anyone good and anyone really balanced except Rahul Tewatia. So lots of problems for them. I don't think they're going to get into the top 4. Really hard for them because of the team they selected, and it will be another disappointing year. I don't know why Shane Warne, ever since he had that wonderful year in the first ever IPL, and ever since then Rajasthan has failed again and again and again and again, and they're so bad every year. It's so surprising to see Rajasthan having the best overseas core as their playing for the overseas for but their Indian core is so bad because they spend all of the money in overseas. So a really bad team from them. Now we'll be moving on to RCB. So RCB also had some dumb picks. So their dumbest pick was Kyle Jamieson and Dane Christian. So Kyle Jamieson, they bought him for 15 crores. It will be really hard to blame him. They could have just actually Dane Christian is not a bad pick. A bad pick from buying Kyle Jamieson, because they will be really hard to blame him. They don't need another fast bowler. He hasn't been known to bowl in the death. He bowls in the power play in the middle. You saw in the test matches against Pakistan and West Indies, and he has bowled only in the middle overs after the 10th over, after Trent bowled and Tim Southee finished their opening or their first spell. And if he's bowling in the middle orders, then that's a problem for RCB, because they already have the people to bowl in the middle order, and also they don't have the people to bowl in the death. And it's funny how they chose to go with the middle order. I think RCB, what they do is they go with the most hyped player, and whoever is hyped the most, they'll put the most amount of money in them. They gain a lot of trust from just 1 or 2 innings, but then they lose the same amount of trust in just 1 or 2 innings. That's why they released so many players in the last IPL auction. In this auction, they released so many players, and they got so many overseas players who they didn't need in the first place. So what I think they're going to do is they should just gone with an Indian death bowler, not too many out there, or an Indian all-rounder, which would have been much more valuable, but they decided to not do that, and because of that, they cannot play Josh Felipe, and if they play Josh Felipe, then they cannot play Dane Christian, and they're going to have to do they're going to have many problems. So their opening is going to be Devdutt Padikkal and Mohammad Azharuddin at number 2. Mohammad Azharuddin as their second opener. Virat Kohli at number 3. If Virat Kohli comes in to open, then they can do some shifting with their middle order. I don't think he's going to do that because they don't have a good middle order right now. So Azharuddin at number 2. Kohli at number 3. ABD at number 4. Maxwell at number 5. They're going to have a good power hitting. If Kohli goes up to open, then they're going to have to move ABD to number 3 and Maxwell to number 4 and Sundar to number 5, and they'll be counting a lot on just Jamieson or just Christian to finish, or Sundar to finish. So Kohli at ABD at number 4, Maxwell at number 5, Washington Sundar at number 6, Kyle Jamieson or Dane Christian at number 7, Yuzvendra Chahal at number 8, Navdeep Saini at number 9, Kane Richardson at number 10. Kane Richardson is the only fast bowler that RCB have who's known to have the variations and who's known to bowl in the death, who can bowl in the death, and that's what they need. They do so bad in Chinnaswamy when bowling in the death, and that's why they did so bad in 2019. But in 2020 they did better because they had Chris Morris to cover, and if they had retained Chris Morris, they could have done so much better with this team. They could have just played Chris Morris instead of Dane Christian or Kyle Jamieson, and there would have been so much better death bowling. Just the bowling. They bought Chris Morris for 9 crores into RCB, and now he's worth 16.25 crores. He's worth so much now, and they should just retain him. No, if they were thinking that they would release him and buy him again, then that was the dumbest thing ever. But that was a really dumb pick from them, and that's how I think RCB did, and I think they're going to go in the top 4 by net run rate, not because of really dominating this year their whole matches, but I think they'll go with because of net run rate. They do have a really good balanced team. I would say they have it's hard to say, but I would say they have the second best balanced team after Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals, and the first is coming up next. So RCB, they have a really good overseas core and a decent Indian core, but lots of problems from them, and so they have some problems such as their depth bowling and how they would finish games. So little problems from them, and hopefully they do good. I want them to win it this year. Hopefully they do, but that's how it looks. And now we'll be moving on to the team who also didn't win, but a team that I kind of hate, starting to hate now, and it's Kings Punjab. Not Kings Punjab, man. Not Kings Punjab. It gets so mad whenever I say that and I remember it's Punjab Kings. Oh my god. This is probably the dumbest IPL team name. I cannot start putting benchmarks like this because now there are teams like Mumbai Indians, and the thing is, Mumbai Indians, they have their name is Indians, and there's 8 other teams in the IPL and all of them are from India. And Mumbai Indians decided to go with Mumbai Indians. I don't know what their thing is. I don't know if they're trying to say that they represent India, which is the dumbest thing because they don't. Delhi does. They're the capital for a reason. and Delhi Capitals have gone with the Capitals, and that's Mr. Obvious. So lots of dumb names: Rajasthan Royals, Royal Challengers Bengaluru. Why so many Royals? Just go with a different name. Chennai Super Kings, and there used to be Kochi Tuskers, Kings 11 Punjab Kings. And I would not bring up my favorite team name, Sunrisers Hyderabad. I think that's a good name. I think Sunrisers. I think at the beginning I used to think that since they're really towards east, not too far, but they're compared to Delhi and Mumbai and Bengaluru and not Chennai, but compared to these three cities, other major cities, Hyderabad is towards the east, a little more east. So I thought that they were named Sunrisers Hyderabad because the sun rises from the east and they're closest. But now I realized like recently that they're trying to represent that they always rise, they always rise above and everything like that. They produce light and all. So I think Sunrisers have the best name and Delhi Capitals have the second best name. But Punjab Kings, it pisses me off every single time I say Kings 11 Punjab. They have gone 11 years, or 12 years with the name Kings 11 Punjab, and now all of a sudden they decided to just go Punjab Kings, and they apparently wanted to have a ceremony to the IPL auction, just celebrating the new name. They don't have the jersey, a change in their jersey color, like the Rajasthan Royals did. At least the Rajasthan Royals did something better. They saw that their jersey sucked and they needed a better jersey, and they have gone with the pink version, and it looks so much better. But they did not go Royals Rajasthan. And Punjab has done exactly that. Kings Punjab. Oh my god. It's even hard to remember this name because we're used to Kings 11 Punjab. And if they took out the 11, it would have been much easier. Kings Punjab. But they've gone with Punjab Kings. Dumb IPL names. This is what happens when you have the IPL auction, which is more based on math and less based on creativity. And when creativity lacks, this is the thing you get. You get Punjab Kings and Mumbai Indians and Royals and Kings. So many Kings. But so their dumbest pick was Riley Meredith, and that was because they bought him for 8 crores. And the reason I'm saying he's a dumb pick is because they are most likely only going to play him if Kane Richardson gets injured. They're going to play 2 pacers or 3 pacers, and only 1 overseas pacer because they want to most likely play Malan, Gale, and Puran. So really dumb pick from them to just buy Riley Meredith as backup, because they would most likely not play him, and they should have gone with another Indian bowler, which would have been much more valuable for them, since they would be able to play more overseas players. They would have been able to play Fabian Allen had they bought somebody like Umesh Yadav. They would benefit. They would just do much better. So bad pick from them. Their best pick was David Malan. I was so surprised when I saw that David Malan was bought for 1.5 crores. I wasn't watching it. I was looking at the live updates, and when David Malan came, I was going, oh boy. He's going to be the richest man after this auction. And it said 1.5 crores sold by PKBJ, something like that, Punjab Kings. PBKS. So I thought 1.5 crores, and I thought, why is the decimal point in the left of 5? It should be on the right of 5. So I restarted the app, I closed the app, and I opened it again. And I was so surprised he was bought for 1.5 crores. A steal there from Punjab. Another team went for him. I thought RCB would definitely go for him, but they didn't. And I thought Kolkata would definitely go for him. They should have gone with him and kept Shakib Al Hasan lower down the order, or just not playing him at all. They could have solved some of their opening issues, since David Malan can open. And they could have solved the number 3 issues, because David Malan can also play there. Much more would have been more valuable in Kolkata, because Punjab might not even play him if they have to play another overseas player lower down the order. So what I think, my prediction for them is that Mayank and Gale are going to open. No question there. Chris Gale is going to come at number 3. I have some friends of Kings 11 Punjab, and they have said that they might not even play Chris Gale, and they have done that last season, and they felt the consequences of that. They didn't play Chris Gale in the first 7 games, and they only won 1 game against RCB, and they played Chris Gale in the next 5 games, and they have won the next 7 games, and they have won the next 5 games of the season. So Chris Gale is really valuable. His average too was like 50 or something, over 50. So really valuable. And they would not want him to miss him out. They wouldn't want to miss him. So Chris Gale at number 3, David Milan at number 4. They could just swap him around, do whatever they want. I would like, honestly, to Chris Gale to play at number 2 and Gale to come at number 3, because it offers much more of an attacking opening. Because Gale, if you saw last year, he was a highest run scorer, yes, but if you see his strike rate was up to 129, and that's so low for the number 3, the third best T20 batsman in the world right now. So it was a really dumb pick. Choice to put Kale to open. They would just I would say move Kale down the order to number 3, because he can anchor there much better, and they really need an anchor to go lower down the order rather than have an anchor right from the beginning. So yeah, I think it would actually. Yeah, I think Mayank is more of a runner than a boundary scorer, so Gale is not that. It would maybe de-benefit, not do more harm than good to Punjab. So yeah, they should go with either Kale or Gale can be replaceable. I would want Gale to open, but whatever they want. Kale at number 3, Devman at number 4, and Nicholas Purn at number 5. Number 6, they will most likely go with SRK, because they bought him for such a high price, 5.25 crores. They would not want him to just go away. So Shah Rukh Khan at number 6, and Deepak Hooda at number 7, trying to finish the games most of the time. They wouldn't need to finish the games if the top order, number 1 to number 5, do what they have been doing for the last 5 years. Nicholas Purn, David Malan, KL, Gale, Mayank have been really good in the past. Actually, most of them have been doing good in the past year. And if they just do even 75% of what they have been doing until now, then they could just, most of the matches would just not even need, Deepak Hooda wouldn't even need to bat, or SRK wouldn't even need to bat. So, yeah, Deepak Hooda at number 7, Morgan Ashwin at number 8, Mohammad Shami at number 9, Ravi Vishnu at number, Deepak Hooda at number 7, Morgan Ashwin. Nicholas Purn at number 5, SRK at number 6, Deepak Hooda at number 7, Morgan Ashwin at number 8, Mohammad Shami at number 9, Ravi Vishnu at number 10, and Kane Richardson at number 11. So that's how Punjab looks, and I think they would make the top 4. With the team that they have right now. Right, last year they had a lot of anchoring. They had a lot of problems with the middle order, because if Gale came, then they wouldn't be able to play Jimmy Neesham or Chris Jordan, or another fast bowler like Sheldon Cottrell. So they didn't put Gale in, and they put Gale in, and that meant they didn't have the fast bowlers, and they had problems with their lower middle order. But this time, buying David Milan and also buying SRK would benefit them a lot, and I think they will definitely make the playoffs for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. So I think Punjab is going to go far this season, not as far as finals, but maybe semi-finals if they can beat. I think if they can beat RCB in the eliminator. So that's what Punjab looks like. And now we've been moving on to my favorite team, Sunrisers Hyderabad, and I watch a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I watched a lot of reviews about this auction, and almost every one of them, not almost, but some of them has said that SRH have a really imbalanced team. And to some extent, it is true, but I think considering how some other teams like Punjab or Rajasthan or Chennai have more of an imbalanced team, it's not right to say Sunrisers also have an imbalanced team. That's because their only problem in their team is number 3 and number 4. And if Manish Pandey just delivers, then they don't have another problem. If Manish Pandey can strike and can play like how he did in 2019, scoring at a strike rate well above 140, if he can just do that, then that would be just much better. But the problem is Manish Pandey doesn't do that. Every time you think that he does good, he does exactly the opposite. Well, I remember the match against Rajasthan last year in the IPL when Sunrisers were chasing 150 odd, 140 odd, and they lost 2 quickest really early to Jofra Archer, and Vijay Shankar and Manish Pandey managed to stick together for the whole time, and they played so well. But in the end, they won, and in the next game, they were chasing 127 against Punjab, and I was watching this. I was gut wrenching to see how Sunrisers have played in that match. So Warner and Bairstow did really good in the power play. They scored 58 runs for no loss in the first 6 overs, and they played so well. Bairstow and Warner go out really quick, and Sunrisers have to chase 60 runs off 70 or so balls, something like that. And they have managed to fail that because Manish Pandey wasted 30 balls and just scored 15 runs, and Vijay Shankar scored like 27 runs. And from that, everybody just collapsed. And midway through, when Manish Pandey and Vijay Shankar were batting, the Sunrisers Hyderabad, their dressing room, I remember there was a picture of them just sitting down, and everybody was calm, peaceful, just laughing, joking around because they thought they would win, and they managed to lose that match because nobody was able to finish it and nobody was able to take that on, and that was when they realized the value of Kane Williamson. So they had a lot of problems, not too many, but a little amount of. Yeah, they had some problems with their. Right now they have problems with their playing 11, but that's why they bought Jagadish Suchit, and he was actually the one who started the collapse in that Kings 11 match. He was the one who caught Manish Pandey to a brilliant catch at the boundary. Even John T. Rhodes came out and he started clapping because that was a really good catch, and they got him. Sunrisers have a lot of really good fielders. I think Sunrisers, their motto is. If you're an average player and you're an average batsman, an average bowler, even below average, but you're an excellent fielder, then just come into our team and you can play in our team for most of our games. They do that with Abhishek Sharma, Manish Pandey, David Warner. And David Warner is good now and good ever since 2016, but they brought him in 2014 or 2015. Before he was considered really good world-class player. So even at that time, he was a really good fielder, but never a really good batsman at that time, and they bought him. So their motto is just buy players even if they're below average in their batting, then just buy him. They did that with Andrew Simmons for Deccan Chargers, and they did that. If John T. Rhodes, if IPL was here since 1990 or so, then John T. Rhodes would have been a perfect pick to SRH. He was a fielding coach to MI and Kings 11, but I think John T. Rhodes, if he was there ever since the beginning of he was there in the beginning of the IPL, he would have been with SRH for sure because he was an average batsman, and I don't think he was a bowler, but average batsman, an excellent fielder, one of the best fielders of all time, if not the best. But if he was there, John T. Rhodes would have been a perfect player for SRH. They would just go with him. The SRH have a lot of good fielders, but they don't have a good power hitters. That's their only problem. So I would say their two problems are number 4 and number 7. And with this auction, I think it's really quite figured out. But I'm kind of pessimistic with the way SRH have done in the past 3 years. 2018 they did good. 2019 they did way below par because of the World Cup. 2020 they did good, but their problems. The reason they were able to progress was because of their luck. Other teams have lost. The condition was set perfectly for SRH, but I don't think this year they're going to go. My prediction for the team is that they bought Jagadish Suchit. They also got Kedar Jadhav and Mujibur Rahman, and they have the 3 best Afghan players. They have Rashid and Mujib and also Nabi. So my prediction their playing 11 is going to be David Warner and Bairstow are going to open, and they're going to leave out Kane Williamson. 2022, there's a big IPL auction coming up. And they can only retain 2 overseas players, and Rashid has to go out. That's never going to happen unless everybody in SRH have gone mad. If I'm living in Hyderabad at the time, I'm going to go out in the streets and yell and storm these SRH facility building if they have one, and demand them to get Rashid back in. I'm going to storm into wherever the auction is happening because don't leave out Rashid. That's how valuable he is. And David Warner, I think what he has done to SRH ever since he came, I think it's disrespectful to just leave him out now. And he's also a really good player. I think he's a better player than Kane Williamson. If there's another opener, the only reason he had a strike rate below 140, his worst strike rate in the last 5 IPL seasons so far. He still scored 500 runs, but the only reason he had that was because he didn't have another trustworthy opener. When he had Johnny Bairstow, he had that 190, the 190 run match. And when he had Ridwan Saha, he had the 50s and all. But when he had to open with Shrivats Goswami or Priyam Garg, he didn't score much because he couldn't trust the other player. He tried to be responsible, but that's not his game. He couldn't play his natural game. But that was why. But with Bairstow back and them back in Hyderabad, it's going to benefit them a lot. Hyderabad is really batting friendly pitch and sometimes spin friendly. So Warner and Bairstow are going to open. Manish Pandey at number 3. And number 4, like I said, Kane Williamson has to go, and they need a replacement for him. And I think that's why they bought Priyam Garg. Priyam Garg is perfect at number 3, number 4, but he wasn't able to do that last season. They did give him one match and he scored a 51. He actually got Kings and run out in that match. He scored 51 off just 26 balls in that match, so he did good in that one match, but apart from that, he hasn't done good. This year, he played inside Mushtaq Ali. I'm pretty sure he was also captain for some games, but he didn't do good in that match. He's a gun of a fielder. I'm not kidding you at all. He's such a good fielder. Abhishek Sharma and Priyam Garg and a few more players are such good fielders. So they would really count on Priyam Garg to do good at number 4 and Vijay Shankar to do good there if he plays. But that's why they have Kedar Yadav. If both of them fail, they have a lot of players who can play at number 4. Priyam Garg hasn't done good at number 4, but yeah, he didn't do good inside Mushtaq Ali. Abhishek Sharma had a wonderful season inside Mushtaq Ali, so he will be given a lot of chances at number 4. Abhishek Sharma, and they'll go with Vijay Shankar as well. He did have one good game in the last IPL, and he's a really good economical bowler. I didn't believe it. I didn't know he was such a good economical bowler. In most of the games he played last season, he went for an economy of less than 6, or say 6.5 even. So yeah, an economy of less than 6.5. So he's a really good economical bowler. If he can play, then they would definitely play him at number 4, counting on him to score. But if he doesn't score, then Abhishek Sharma or Priyam Garg can play there. And if all 3 of them fail, then they have Kedar Yadav to back them up. And number 5, I think they're going to play Virat Singh, and they have to play him. I don't think he had a really good side in Mushtaq Ali, but he has done really good in the past few years in domestic cricket and Ranji Trophy. And I was surprised that they didn't go with him in even one match. I thought he would be replaced with Priyam Garg after he has failed in so many matches. SRH, when somebody plays for them and if it's an inexperienced player, then they play really good because they have a mentor and they have a brilliant team management who really take care of their players. And Virat Singh, maybe it's because of the fact that he's really nervous or something, and that's why they didn't go with him. But this year, I think he will definitely play a few matches. So Virat Singh at number 5, Abdul Samad at number 6, at number 7. Depending on the match, if it's a really batting friendly match, they should just go with number 7 Mohammad Nabi, or they can go with his counterpart, who's much better of a bowler, the second best T20 bowler right now. If it's a really spin friendly pitch, then they should just go with Mujib, who also offers something with the bat. So Mujib and Rashid are going to be an excellent spin attack in T20. They do so good for Afghanistan, but they might not play as many matches in IPL because in IPL most matches are batting friendly unless they're playing at Chepauk, where it's much more spin friendly. But they might want to play Mujib. So Nabi at number 7, and or Munabi or Mujib at number 7, Rashid at number 8, Bhuvi at number 9, Nattu at number 10, Natarajan at number 10, and at number 11 they have 3 options. They could go with Sandeep Sharma, who offers a lot in the power play, and they could go with his fellow countrymate Siddharth Cole, who had a brilliant side. Mushtaq Ali went at an really good economy of less than 7, and picked up 14 wickets, and that's really good. So they could go with them as well. I don't think they're going to go with him because he really gets smacked when international players come into the play, and he gets smacked all around the ground. But they might go with him, but Siddharth Cole they could go with Siddharth Cole, or they could go with Khalil Ahmed. They went with him for many matches, but I think they have the replacement now. Khalil was there for the power play, but Sandeep does much better in the power play. He's literally as good as Jasper Bumrah. They have almost the exact same statistics. They picked 110 wickets, and they have played so many number of innings, almost the exact same number of innings, same average and same economy. So very similar. Sandeep should just stay in my view. So with this, if I was really optimistic with this team, since I really follow SRH and really think about SRH, I would say this is a really balanced team. Because as a fan, I would say that. But if I was thinking in the way of somebody as not a fan and just trying to see what the truth is, I would say SRH have a lot of problems with their number 4, number 5, and number 6. Number 6 is Abdul Samad, and number 5 is Virat Singh. That's my 11. But yeah, number 4, number 5, number 6, really inexperienced, and number 3 hasn't been in a slump in form. So all their middle order exactly number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, the perfect positions of a middle order all four of them have problems. They all are. Some of them are experienced and they have some form. Others are inexperienced and they haven't shown themselves, so you don't know what to expect. But this is my prediction. And if they can get into the top four, that would be impressive. I would really like them to, but like I said, as looking from an unbiased point of view, I would say I don't think they would. I really want them to, but yeah, that's how they look. The team look. The predictions are. And that's how the IPL auction went. So like I said, the worst pick of the auction, the award has to go to Krishna Bhagavatam by CSK. Buying him for 9 crores is definitely unnecessary, really bad decision from them. And the best steal is Dave Milan, who was bought for just 1 crore. RCD KKR really needed him, and there should have been a battle tussle between those two teams, but KKR decided to not go with him, and Punjab just decided to have him. Moeen Ali, another bad pick. Chris Morris, too expensive for his caliber. Charlie Jameson, also a bad pick. But this is how the IPL auction went, and this is today's episode. And no matches happened. No matches happened today. So I just did a redo of the IPL auction episode. I should have released this yesterday, and I did, but like I said, problems with the editing and things getting mismatched, and problems with that. So I really did this episode again for you guys, and that's the end of today's episode. So I didn't say at the beginning, but please follow me on Twitter at CrickViews, and I'll leave a link in the description. Please follow me there, so that you get all of the latest updates about my podcast. And also, please follow me on YouTube. If you follow me on YouTube, you can get a lot of updates about my podcast whenever I release a new episode. Or that's Twitter. And if you follow me on YouTube, you can get extra content from me that's not related to my podcast. You'll see me playing cricket there. I don't know if you saw it yet, but going to press my channel icon, you'll see. Go to my homepage and go to videos, and then you'll see 2 videos there. It's like Cricket Bowling Day 1 and Cricket Bowling Day 2. Watch both of those, and please give me advice on how to get better at bowling. You might be wondering why I was wearing a sweatshirt, but it was like 27 degrees Fahrenheit cold outside, so that's like, most people that are listening to this are from India and Asia and not from America, so that's like, that's like 40, or not 40, but like 60 or, no, that's not 60. That's like 5 degrees, or no, that's less than 0 degrees. That's like -5 or -2 degrees Celsius. So it was really cold. That's why I was wearing a sweatshirt. But please give me advice on how to get better in my cricket bowling. But that's how the IPL auction went, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with coming out with another episode of a preview of the India's. Oh my God. I'll talk about in tomorrow's episode. I'll be talking about the India's England, the 3rd test. I'll be talking about the preview and at the Ahmedabad. At the brand new stadium, the largest cricket stadium in the world right now. So a preview of that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new episode. And have a good day. And thanks for listening.